January is already over, and I managed to squeeze in a few books to read in between all of the literature festivals that was happening. So let's talk about them. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Trishita Reads. I am Trishita, and in today's video I will be talking about all of the books that I read in the month of January. In the month of January I finished reading 5 books, which is not that much if I compare it with my previous months, and I am feeling a little guilty but not that much because I attended 2 literature festivals that happened in Kolkata. One was APJ Kolkata Literary Festival that is conducted by Oxford Bookstores, and the other is Kolkata Literary Meet. And in both of the literature festivals, I not only met a lot of authors whose work I adore, I also found a lot of hidden gems. And I just threw my book buying ban down the road and I grabbed some books during the Lit Fests and got them signed from my favorite authors. So, definitely a book haul is coming. So, this video will be a little short, which I guess is good for you guys as well. You don't have to listen to me blabber about books for a long time. So, without any further ado, let's start with this video. Some of the books I read were amazing, and some, well, not that much. I will be starting my wrap up with the books that I did not like that much, and I will gradually move on to the books that I absolutely loved reading. You can grab a piece of pen and paper and just sit down, relax a little bit, have some coffee while I tell you what I read in the month of January. The first book that I read in the month of January that has highly disappointed me is Magnolia Parks. I have given this book 1.5 stars. Not only I have seen this book multiple times on Bookstagram, but I have also heard my favorite booktubers talking about it, and that is the reason why I was so freaking excited and interested to read the book. And once I got a chance to read it, it became the worst experience in the month of January for me. Prepare yourselves because this is going to be a wild ride. This book is said to be the British version of Gossip Girls, and from that only I should have realized that I will not like this book because I don't like Gossip Girls. The book tells a story of Magnolia, a beautiful, affluent, and neurotic London socialite, and her ex boyfriend BJ, who broke her heart. All of the people around them say that they are meant to be, but let's just say that their relationship is very complicated. They date other people to make each other jealous, sleep with other people to get back to each other, and generally engage in a toxic cycle of push and pull. Both of these people don't even know what they are doing in their lives. They just want each other to feel jealous of each other. Well, if I have to say, the one thing that I liked about this book was the writing style. It was an experience. However, all of the characters, including the main female character and the main male character, lack depth and any kind of dimension. Just replace the side characters with poles, and yes, there will not be any change in the plot of the story. That's how insignificant the side characters are. The side characters, including friends of BJ and Magnolia, are just there to gossip and somehow push the plot forward. Magnolia's personality is to just look at you and judge you on the basis of the clothes you are wearing. She has a power to just look at you and scan which brand you are wearing, what is the cost of the brand, and in which collection this clothing belongs to. That's it. And it has really irked me a lot in the book, like how much of a privileged brat you can be by just looking and judging a person on what they wear, on what brand they wear. Who has given you the right, my lady? And well, BJ, on the other hand, just sleeps with girls. He cheats on Magnolia multiple times. I cannot even say that he cheats because he is not in a relationship with Magnolia. And even BJ considers that he is cheating on her, but I don't know what is happening. He continues doing the same thing multiple times in the book, regretting every single time, but he does not even try to change himself throughout the whole book. I was just waiting for BJ to own up to his things, to just come out to Magnolia and confess what he is going through, why he is doing this. And even after Magnolia giving him so many chances, he failed every single time. BJ as a character was really bullshit, and I was very disappointed. Even I was angry at Magnolia. Why do you want to give a person multiple chances in your lifetime just to get disappointed every single time? You know this person, you know the traits of this person, but still you are giving this person multiple chances for what reason? Why? Buddy, just move on in life. It's not that hard. Also, the romance in this book, well, BJ is a cheater. You already know about that. And in this book, the way Magnolia is attracted to this guy is just a mystery to me. It is more of a mystery to me than figuring out what is going to happen at the end of a thriller novel. Cheating in this book has been glorified so freaking much that at a point I was so triggered because cheating is the ultimate red flag for me. I cannot stand people who cheat in life, and that has literally traumatized me that this girl, Magnolia, has forgiven BJ so many times after he cheated on her, came back to her, said sorry. Then Magnolia was like, okay, please stay in my life just because I love you. I don't see the point. I don't see the point here. And this endless cycle continues throughout the whole book. 500 pages of absolute trash. All in all, if I have to summarize this book in one sentence, it will be this book is toxic. This book not only glorifies unhealthy dynamics in relationships, this book glorifies domestic abuse, this book glorifies cheating, and this book considers all of these things as romance. Give this book a fair chance if you want to, but for me, I am not going to continue this series. The first book had already traumatized me a lot. I don't want to go through the same trauma again and again and again. If you enjoy reading a book where the two main characters seriously are in need of therapy, and if you are somewhat interested in designer fashion, then you can check this book out. If you ask me, I will not recommend this book, but I will not stop you from reading this book. Form your own perspectives. Reading should be the only thing that should matter. I am so happy to say this that this is the only book that I did not like reading at all in the month of January. And for me, any rating which is 3 or above 3 is good. So we have finally come to the part of the video where I will be talking about books that you can write as recommendations. The first book that I am going to talk about is It by Stephen King. I have given this book 3 out of 5 stars. I have been very excited to read It by Stephen King for a very long time because this book is considered a true classic, and this book is also considered to be one of the best works by Stephen King. But I was very skeptical because the thickness of this book was around 1370 something pages. It was very intimidating indeed. This book is a journey through time talking about childhood, fear, and the enduring power of friendship. This is the story revolving around the lives of 7 kids in a small town called Derry who face an evil entity that manifests in their deepest fears even after they have grown as adults. In 1958, they band as the Losers Club to confront this entity, which often takes the form of Pennywise the Clown. Yes, the famous Pennywise the Clown. Fast forward to 27 years later, where these people have moved on in their lives and moved far away from Derry, they are called back to again confront this evil entity, and their reality is shattered. They have to face it once again, and none of them are ready for it. The writing of Stephen King masterfully portrays the insecurities and vulnerabilities a person has to go through both in childhood and as an adult. The book also beautifully explores the psychological aspects of trauma and fear and how these things can build up a person's personality and shape us as we grow. One of the most beautiful aspects of this book is if you have the will and courage and if you have belief in yourself, then you can conquer everything, even your fears, even an evil entity. This gives the story not only a magical aspect, but to us readers, a glimmer of hope that, okay, everything will be fine at the end of the story. Since the length of this book is quite long, the number of pages is quite thick, I do understand that if any of you gets intimidated by the size of it, because I personally was very scared when I picked this book up. And because of the length of this book, the author got a chance to do deep character dives, show amazing character development and growth, and let the readers connect with the characters, and that exactly happened. However, there were some portions of the book that felt overly descriptive, and yes, you will find these things in Stephen King's novels. He might over express and over explain certain subplots, but at the end of the day, it is okay. If you can surpass these subplots, then you will end up enjoying the book. This book also talks about very dark aspects of the society. For example, racism, sexism, domestic abuse, and abuse in any form or shape, bullying, which kind of makes us doubt where the society stands. The only reason why I have reduced my rating is that personally to me, this book was not that horror-y, if that's a word. I expected this book to give me chills. I expected this book to give me nightmares, but this book failed to do so. I really want to read a horror novel that will give me chills, that will make me stop sleeping, because if I sleep, I will get nightmares. I literally want a horror like that, and It by Stephen King has failed to do so, but it is a good horror novel to start with. So if you are planning to start reading horror novels but are scared to do so, then you can definitely start with It by Stephen King, but also keep in mind that this book is quite thick. So I will suggest you to listen to the audiobook when you are reading the book so that you will be able to finish this book in a faster rate, and secondly, you will be able to concentrate more easily when you are using two of your senses. The next book that I am going to talk about has disappointed me a little bit, but this was not a bad book. I am talking about The Striker by Anna Huang. I have given this book 3.5 stars. This book promises forbidden love, rivalry, and enough steam to fog up your glasses. The premise of this book is a classic sports romance. Asher is a main male character and he is a star footballer. He gets attracted to Scarlett, who is the sister of his rival turned teammate. Basically, he falls in love with his captain's sister, which is kind of a tricky situation. Scarlett is a former ballerina, and because of an injury, her career as a dancer was cut short. And she also gets attracted to Asher, but she has sworn that she will not date a footballer. And hence, forbidden love ensues. Now, let's talk about what worked for me in this book. Scarlett is feisty and sassy, and her journey as a ballerina has added a beautiful depth not only to her personality but also to the story as well. And I also loved reading about Asher, who is very secure about him being a very good player. However, the most important subplot that I was most excited to read about was the rivalry between Asher and Scarlett's brother, which unfortunately was underdeveloped. Also, the forbidden romance aspect that was explored in the book felt underdeveloped. It could have been more dramatic, but it fizzled out super quickly. I was expecting more from Anna Huang in this particular situation. However, there were other things in the book that were happening which did not make me feel bored. It was easy for me to glide through the book, but it's just that I was expecting something else from the book, and the book turned out to be completely different. That's why I was disappointed. Otherwise, this is a decent sports romance. The length of the book could have easily been cut down a little bit, and the author could have focused on the main subplots, but it didn't happen, and that is the reason why I have given this book 3.5 stars. On the other hand, if I talk about the smut of the book, yes, it was there. It was absolutely there. The book was spicy, but it was not uncomfortable spicy. So if you are willing to start reading sports romances, you can definitely check this book out. If you are okay with smut, then you can definitely check this book out. But if you ask me, my favorite sports romance till now is Collide by Bal Khabra. So if you are willing to read sports romances, definitely you can go for The Striker, but I will also recommend you to read Collide by Bal Khabra as well. The next book with the same rating, that is 3.5 stars, is Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison. This is the first book that I have read by B.K. Borison, and it has not disappointed me at all. This is a small town romance, and I absolutely adore small town romances, and this book definitely hit the spot. The main female character of Mixed Signals is Laila, who is a bakery owner in the small town of Inglewild, and she has given up on love after having disastrous dates via dating apps, and then enters Caleb in her life. He is a former deputy turned high school teacher, and he is a regular customer in her bakery because guess what? He has been crushing on her for the longest time ever. And on the other hand, she has never ever noticed him because she has only one rule: to not date anyone from the town of Inglewild, because since this is a small town, gossip spreads like fire and she does not want to be a part of gossip. So when Caleb comes up with this deal that they will be dating for 1 month where he will show her how good dates actually look like, and on the other hand, he also will be benefited because he will be getting to date her finally, even after all of the pretenses. Layla was a bit skeptical at the beginning, but she agrees to do it. She agrees to strike the deal. It's a win-win for both of them, right? Until the sizzling chemistry starts between them. This book literally felt like a warm hug and a freshly baked cookie. Layla and Caleb are so adorable together. I really, really loved them as a couple. The most beautiful thing that I really liked in this book was the humor. I literally was laughing out hard when I was reading the snippets of humor in this book. This book is literally a good example of how a rom-com should be executed. The way Caleb was taking care of Layla, the way Layla was trying to comfort Caleb when he was going through his vulnerable situations was so beautiful. I absolutely loved reading this book, but I have given the rating to be 3.5 is just because the plot of the book was predictable. I get it, guys. Romance novels are predictable most of the times, and that is the reason why my rating generally ranges from 3 to 4.5 stars. But will I recommend this book? Absolutely, yes. If you are someone who wants to start reading romances, then definitely you can go for this book. The writing style of B.K. Borison is very easy to dive into. It is very easy to understand, and this book is very fast paced. So you will not feel any kind of boredom when you are reading the book, and that makes this book a perfect book for beginners. Also, guys, a warning: this book is spicy, okay? So definitely keep that in mind if you are starting this book. And the book that has stolen the show for me in the month of January, the book that I have given the highest rating to, is Girl Goddess Queen by Bia Fitzgerald. I have given this book 4.5 stars. This book was a fresh take to the retelling of Greek mythology. The story revolves around Persephone and Hades and how they fell in love with each other. But keep this in mind that this book is not a typical Persephone and Hades story. In this book, forget the kidnapping narrative. Persephone jumps into the underworld with her own will because she does not want to settle down for less. She does not believe in the concept of marriage. She wants to first know a person, fall in love with that person, and only if she wants to, then she wants to marry that person. That's so empowering, and I loved it. And on the other hand, in this book, we see a side of Hades that is not only vulnerable, that is not only caring, that is not only grumpy in a good way, but we also see the artistic side of Hades, how he was forced, or you can say conspired, to take the kingdom of the underworld, and how he is not happy, how he is vulnerable, seeing the pain of human beings and souls roaming in his realm was absolutely amazing. This book was pure joy for me, and I am definitely going to read other works by Fitzgerald. Can you imagine? This was her debut novel. I was so freaking impressed by the writing style of this author. I was so impressed by the way the author has expressed both of the characters. I was so impressed seeing the character development and the formation of romance between Persephone and Hades. They had a lot of challenges, they had a lot of fights, but the way they conquered all to fall in love with each other. The way they knew that if they fall in love with each other, the world will go against them, but still they chose to love each other was absolutely amazing. I don't even want to stop myself from praising this work. If you are even slightly interested in reading Greek mythology retellings, please go and choose this book. You will absolutely love reading it. This book is definitely not factually correct, but this was a very good entertainment read. Not only this book was powerful, showing the positive sides of feminism, but this book also shows the toxic sides of masculinity and how a man can be suppressed because of this thing. How a man is way greater than this mask of toxic masculinity. And I really love that the author has expressed the characters so beautifully that at the end of the book, I was literally attached to Persephone and Hades. And that's it, guys. This was my January wrap up. Unfortunately, I did not get a 5-star read in January, but January as a month has taught me a lot. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching me talking about my reading adventure during the month of January. Let me know in the comments down below which book was your favorite in the month of January and which book you are very excited to read in the month of February. I will love to add your books in my TBR list. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to continue watching my bookish journey. I will see you guys in the next video with a new reading challenge. Till then, stay tuned. Have a good day. Bye.